Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to St Ignatius College Riverview for the Australian Schools Championship. We have the defending premiers in the ACT. They're taking on Queensland II in the third match here from the championship today, and I'm joined by my co-commentator, the new editor for Rugby.com.au, Ian Payton. Payton, welcome to the Rugby.com.au broadcast arm.
Thanks very much, Paddy. What a delight to be here alongside you. Sunny day. There's a very stiff breeze blowing in from the south that the teams have had to deal with throughout today. But this promises to be a pretty good match. There's 4 survivors from last year's ACT champion side. So it's a pretty fresh mob, but they got their tails up last year, didn't they, Paddy?
Absolutely, they were impressive across the championship as we're underway here in game 3. Queensland 2 send it long, and that's taken by Atkins. Move the ball outside the 22.
Try to stop there, 8-2, stop.
Just a kick over the top, and there is a line of Queensland players lining up to take it.
Turnover's good.
To Varga.
No, leave it now, you're off your feet, White.
ACT with the ball. Pick and go from the breakdown.
Keep an eye on number 1, Paddy, Akanisa Kariti, who is one of the weapons for ACT. Played for New South Wales Schools last year, but is down now in Canberra. They've given away the penalty there, though. Put a mock on him.
So Queensland 2, first opportunity where they go for points or go for the corner.
Yep.
And this is Jasper Mellish with the kick to the left boot. Gets the ball well inside the 22. So just over a minute gone. Queensland 2 with an opportunity. Ball's allowed to go over the back of the line out though. The ACT to run it out to Bryce Keane.
Stop there now, 2.
Strong kick by
Stop,
Crow.
6, stop.
Again, not in the touch of Queensland, taking an excellent run. Queensland player Carrera. Now, monstering the territory stats at the moment. Drew, he gives it off to Tumevei. They go back to the left. Ball went past a couple of players, eventually picked up by Domenico. Gets well inside the 22 now. Slow ball coming for Queensland. Little pick and go. Just asking questions on that far flank. Fox wrestled the ball to the ground under pressure. ACT Schools doing their best to keep this wave of Queensland attacks at bay.
Very good pressure building up here.
Go to the left-hand side. They've got penalty advantage coming.
Hughes now.
Ball comes out the back eventually through Drew. Kirk. Ball thrown back on the inside. Tumevei. ACT look to steal the ball but are unable to do so. The defence is set though. Just need to be patient here. Queensland moves the ball to the right. They're flat-footed at the moment. Varga come back for the penalty.
It's excellent continuity in Queensland too. Lots of phases built up there and good handling, which is pretty impressive given it's their first game. They'd all be very nervous and keen to put out a good impression.
Keep him on you, please. Okay. Keep him on you. That's a good gap.
I'll keep up the pressure here, Pat.
Yeah, they certainly started strongly.
Keep him on you, please.
Opting for the line out. We've seen the driving maul used to good effect already throughout the 2-day stay, but they take it off back quickly.
Yeah.
Here's Tavares, but he's lost it. So frustration there for Queensland too, and the ACT will be...
He's a big human. I think he was over the line if he had caught that, Pat.
Absolutely, he had a bit
Number 8, Tavaga.
bit of speed built up on him as well. There's a blood bin call.
So, Paddy, you were here last year. You called it all. What were the strengths of the ACT program? What got them over the line last year?
Probably say their speed in the backs certainly was something that jogs my memory. And also just their tenacity. They refuse to ever die and constantly ask questions of their opposition. And they were a small team last year.
Yeah.
But absolutely no fear, and clearly played probably a bit more rugby together than some of the other representative teams, but thoroughly deserved their win at the championship.
Well, they came from behind in a bunch of games, didn't they? Which is always a good sign about the unity of a team.
Absolutely. And they really knew each other well. Obviously a smaller school and club comp down in Canberra than Sydney and Brisbane, but they're very strong nonetheless. It's the ACT. Clear their lines. But Queensland claim the ball. Mellish did well there. This looks like it could have been stolen. And slowly coming for Queensland. There's hands all in there. I think that could have been going the other way quite easily, that penalty.
He's setting a tone at the breakdown, this ref, isn't he? Handful of penalties already in this game. We're only 5 minutes in.
So they've kicked for the corner. Queensland 2. Zachary Crothers, I believe, is a returning player from last year. Throws the ball in the field. Flat pass to Manu. Over the top it goes to Mellish. Dropped into the ground.
They've got Tavaga set out in the back line out there. I'd like to see him get his hands on it.
And they're calling for it out there, but they've gone to the
other way.
Right. I think Kirk realised his mistake, tried to go back the other way. Pick and go. Go to the left, over the top. Good hands here from the Queensland boys. Pereira.
Dummy call.
Playing advantage to Queensland. I think. No, just pushing the players back. So, kick over the top. Here comes Mellish. He gives it to Atkinson. Atkinson steps into the line. All cleaned out by the ACT players. Let's go to the left, short ball. Brothers. And the ACT own the penalty. An excellent pilfer there. Chantung did very well over the ball. So 4.5 minutes in, the ACT have just been hammered.
Well, that's a bad area. Hasn't found touch here. Letting Queensland off the hook a little bit, ACT.
So Queensland just doing pick and goes at the moment up the middle of the field. ACT just haven't been able to have their hands on the ball virtually at all in this
I'm
match.
not sure they've had the ball at all.
Yeah, just defended. They need to try and get their hands on it. So they go to the left. Good hit there on Pona. Francis Pona. Penalty coming to the ACT. Sealing off is the call.
You can hear the coaches urging them to find their touch with this kick. ACT really wanting to build into this match. They've done a lot of defending early.
Yeah, 16. Yeah,
We say
I've been
goodbye
mate.
to Paddy, folks. He's off to lunch.
Farewell, Ian.
And in comes the 25 Test cap veteran, Adam Fryer.
Morning, Ian.
Welcome, Adam.
Sorry, good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. Well done, Paddy, folks. Quickly becoming the voice of Pathway Rugby. Done an outstanding job in the first 2 games and have been watching this morning, Rugby.com.au live. And welcome to you, Pato. Schoolboy footy.
Thanks, Hass. It's
Good
great.
to see the reigning champions back here and in good form. Gee, they defended well first up. Very strong over the ball. I'm just looking here on the sideline. They're a massive team, this young Brumbies outfit, as they look to the line out there, and it's taken well off the top as the ACT motor forward with Tominico. Scrum half's been impressive so far as the ACT Schools get out wide. Very efficient at the breakdown as they keep motoring forward. It's the hooker, Crothers, who gets over the advantage line. That was ACT on the attack again. Twisted there in a very good tackle by Meese as ACT go down that short side.
Lovely hands from Gariti there, the big man.
Motoring forward now is Bailey. A little bit isolated, but gets the ball back nicely. ACT building some composure with some metres now as they look to go out wide. Again, very isolated, but the ball looks like it's been pilfered by Queensland 2. And they look to go down the short side here, and they get rid of the ball. A reefing kick in a very windy St Ignatius College this afternoon. ACT fullback Jimenez, the star from 2017. Only a little fella, but very, very good with the ball.
A number of the ACT back line are returning from last year. Atkins and Crow at 9 and 10, and Haddad and Jimenez at 14 and 15.
He was outstanding last year, Jimenez.
They can get that ball in a bit of space. You fancy they'll cause some problems, but Queensland defence is up to it at the moment, Hass.
Stop there.
Well, they certainly are, but using this field position, I don't know where the wind is blowing at the moment, but it's just...
Well, it's with that kick, isn't it? It's coming in from the south. It's gusting, but it's pretty strong.
And it's just fallen centimetres short there, and the ACT through Jimenez need to run it out now. They've gone for the counter. And chancing their arm as they bump off one and continue down this open side. Good service again by Atkins. And they're not even using their foot at the moment. They're probably seeing more value in the metres as that ball comes out very slowly, and it's turned over by Queensland 2. And they look to shift it wide, and they do, through their hooker. And now shifting hands from Taviga, and now going wide is Carrera, and he looks like he's just about to get it in. Is it? No, the touch judge has left his arm down, and that's Mellish taking it forward. Queensland 2 looking dangerous. And going down that short side there, a little bit isolated. ACT all over that ball, and it looks like they may have turned it over. No.
Advantage 7 offside.
He's got the arm out.
And that's an advantage being played, so they'll look to chip it away. I think that was Bailey who gave away that penalty, but he's been good so far. Queensland tipping it forward through Tominico. Gee, some solid defence out there, Pato. Just a
Very
real
strong
big
contact
hit
there. Good leg drive.
as they look to just chip away Queensland, as they did on Friday night against the Rebels. Continuing forward now. Pick and go looks like the preferred option. A little bit isolated, but they're grinding through. They're over the line. Let's have a listen.
There, no advantage.
And it looks like it was held up, no advantage. So they're going back to that penalty from Darryl Bailey coming through on the ruck and taking out the 9. You're not allowed to touch the halfback there, but Pato, I just said before that breeze, it looked like it was coming across the field. Now it's certainly going that way. It's blowing a gale. The monitors are falling over, and
Back in,
There's
back
children
in,
on the
10.
sideline screaming. It's very windy
Are they
conditions
your
here.
children?
Could potentially be.
Gotta be on the
Look,
mark.
you fancy that Queensland have got to get some points here. They've been the dominant team early. If they don't get over the line here, I think they'd be disappointed. They're going to look to roll a try in, you'd imagine. Some big units there. House, look at number 8, Tavaga.
Righto, guys, Mark,
Number
here,
5,
close the
Reece,
gap. Okay, I'm not going to speak to you about it again.
Mice,
Keep it open, please.
and number 4, Harrison Fox. They're all big units. Probably want to use that size.
As they throw the ball over, but still taken there by Inali Tuamavavi. He can go again. Now that looks better. Let's see what the referee says here.
Oh, I think he got that. Yeah, there's absolutely no one underneath him.
He was brave to see that they had 8 screaming Queenslanders around him. Let's just have a look here at the replay, see whether or not he did get that down.
Held up.
Good picks here from Double Tape. I can't give you that one, Ian. I think he's held up.
You've got a future in the team, Osbox.
No, thank you.
Find a no try out of nothing.
No, thank you.
Fine.
First scrum, is it?
Set.
I believe so.
Pass
Call
on.
that back.
We find a Tongan Thor out of this Queensland pack. Tuamavavi looks a
Same
solid
mark.
shape of a human there at
We need
number
height from
3.
both of you two, please. Okay, height up.
Yeah. They're breeding some good stocks out of Queensland at the moment. They were impressive the other night, Ian, with that win over the Rebels. A lot of people saying it was an upset win, but they've been due for a performance like that for some time.
Set.
As the scrum goes down for Queensland 2. ACT still on. Looks like
They
they've
pushed him back a little. Yeah.
got the benefit there as they go back on the inside now through Pona. Pona's tackled well. Again, they look to just chisel their way through, and they've gone back down the short side through Fox, who finds a diving.
Short there, I think. Yeah, there's touchy with the flag up.
No touch.
What a ball from Fox, was it?
Yeah, it was Fox, the
Quade Cooper-esque.
in here, and beautiful feet too. Just a bit of a jink and going to the outside and just falling short, but they have spent some time down here, and it's now up to the ACT to do their best to get out of here. And I almost think, they've just got to put it on the boot, and they've turned it over. They've got to win the line out
Can't get hands
first.
on it, yeah.
Queensland taken through there by
Cheeky hands in there, I think, Ass.
Off the top of the line out.
Hooker's nightmare, these conditions.
They can find a breeze, the hooker. Is that what they tell? Oh, no, that was the wind. What was your standard go-to excuse when they flew 90 degrees the wrong way?
It's a good question.
Slippery ball.
Yes.
Crouch.
And locks that weren't good enough. But we won't talk about my career. We're talking about the future here, and we're looking as though Queensland are due to score some points. Just on quarter time. And Kirk gets it out to Drew, and he's
lined up there.
Pretty decent hit by Isaac Crowe.
They're hanging in the ACT. Very committed defence. They're just scrapping away. They're not letting Queensland get anywhere near that line. So they want to reef this ball downtown and try and get themselves into the match. Barely seen the ball and we're 20 minutes in.
Crouch.
Yeah, tough conditions here. I think the ACT just need to get it on the boot, get out of there, and then try and force a turnover. They're not going to get much pay out of this breeze that's working against them as Queensland put the shove on, but ACT respond well.
They'll have crack here.
And that's another very good run there by, is it Jimenez? Long ball place. Dug out well through Atkins, who now goes to a one-out runner. It's their number 8, Rory Scott. to go wide. They're not chancing itself with the kick here, and it's the call from one of the ACT players is play it simple. They've had a hack at the ball, probably not the best kick, but they've got some territory as Queensland now go on the attack through Pona, who chips it through and cleaned up well and scooped up by the halfback Atkins, who lays it back, and
forward.
Sounds as though there's been a little knock on there, but the referee will play advantage. Taken forward there by their hooker.
Taken back.
He's taken back, so will need to stay in.
That's a better reef, that one.
That's what they need to do. They need to play territory. And here come Queensland through the hooker fullback Mellish, who goes down that short side to their outside centre Flute, who's coughed it up. I like how both teams are having a crack at running with the ball, but in these games here, especially early on when you've never played with each other, it's almost plug the corners and try and force the turnover.
It's a bit of first game itis, isn't it, from Queensland? They've been dominant this first quarter, just not getting the clinical finishes that they'd want. ACT are making some changes. That's interesting.
Early changes, yeah.
Taking off Doriti, which is the big superstar who played for New South Wales last year, as we said.
Fight's good on the hit, okay. Let's work hard to keep it up the whole way through the scrum.
Interested to know that decision behind what was laying behind that decision.
Just so impressed with the size of these kids coming through. Good stock for the future.
Crouch! Bind!
And the champions from 2017 are under some pressure at the moment as the ACT feed the ball in. And Atkins gets it away. Very deep they are, ACT, throwing a switch back on the inside to Haddad, who's broken 2 or 3 tackles, and gets a really long ball placed there. Breeze down here is just incredible. And it's probably changed a couple of times. Charged down by Queensland too. But walked forward very well there by Isaac Crowe. Only a little fella, but does plenty of good work, and they've dished it back to Jimenez, who's
said a bit of sevens up the back. He's just waiting to see what's going on.
Can't do this, I'm getting out of here, as Queensland go back on the attack now through Mellish, who does pretty well and finds his hook up. Crothers, who gets down that short side. Good support there by the rake. Coming back on the inside as Carrera. Fed well. Motoring forward now is Manu, who dishes it off to their big towering lock. It's Meese. Again, Queensland looking very structured as turnover there, but it looks as though they're playing the advantage. Can't use the shoulder on its own. You need to wrap it round. They've been cracking down on this really well, the referees of late, as we have a bit of a break, Pato. But are we over-refereeing some aspects of the game with tackling? I don't think there was any intention there to hurt the bloke, but it sort of came in not using his hands, and then you get the penalty. Do we look at it too closely?
Yeah, I mean, certainly at schoolboys level, where they're attempting to just try and get some continuity in this game, aren't they? Both teams are struggling to find it. It'd be nice to see the game flowing a little more. Queensland have had the dominance of territory and possession, but we're sort of, ball is changing hands a lot, isn't it, Hass? You know, we're not seeing either team actually piece anything together in these sort of 5, 6, 7 phases territory, which is what's going to be needed on a day like this. This wind is a factor, no doubt about it. It's sort of gusting from the south and occasionally from the west as well.
The 11's come off for the ACT. That's Corey Toole.
No, it's actually Junior Tupou, who is, would you believe it, 15 years old. And he's up playing with the older boys here today. Certainly a talent. Attends the very fine St Edmunds College.
Yeah, looking as though ACT schoolboy rugby on the rise again. As Queensland 2 have the line out now and go to the front, as they do in these conditions, and shift out one and have a barnstorming run What a tackle
Great
there.
contact there.
Tackle.
And it is turned over now. The ACT bring it forward through Hooker, and just a hack there, and almost pulled the sandwich out where he needed
he's
the
tapped
one,
it
but
back.
it's
Beautiful.
worked off for them. They come down this short side now, and it's beautiful feet by the ACT. Campese-like as they charge through. It looks like it could be the opening try of the game, and it is.
Fantastic.
What a try there.
A dog ugly kick, but a beautiful finish from Haddad. He's turned his opposite number inside out a number of times.
Fantastic try there as we look at the replay. I said before, they got the sandwich out, they went bang, found some ground.
Just a little tap back, the easy full-out tap back.
There it is, isn't it? There's plenty of conversation around that at the moment.
He's turned him inside 1, 2, and then skinned him.
Reminds me of another Canberran winger back in the day, David Campese. Just had him in 6s and 7s and scooted around, and now ACT Schoolboys on the scoreboard.
It can happen so often, can't it, Hass, when one team is effectively camped on the other team's territory. And Corey Toole has been given the try. Apologies to Corey. But yeah, Canberra, you know, escaped their territory. ACT escaped their territory and managed to put the first try on the board.
Successful kick has the ACT 7, leading Queensland 2-0 on 33 minutes. And it was Toole who scored that try. Very impressive. Out of all the schoolboy games, I do like watching the ACT. It's just got such a good rugby community down there in Canberra, and Queensland are up against it here this afternoon, trailing by 7 just before the break, as they've taken it well through there by Crow, who has now taken that ball back. Good kick by Jimenez in these conditions.
He's got a boot on him, doesn't he?
Huge kick, yeah, certainly does. Queensland now cough it up.
It's backwards.
That's Taviga, and it just keeps going back now. They've gone forward, so momentum on the young Canberran side. You can see, look at the body language now, Pato. They're all over it. If they can get another try before the half, they'll be pretty pumped.
Yep, there's a really decisive moment for Queensland. That was their response to a try, was to get a bit panicky and push a toughish pass. Title to catch it though, the big man. But ACT now, they've perfectly set up for their talented backline to have a crack here.
In the same build as Caleb Timu is Taviga, Bruce Taviga, the number 8 for Queensland. But it's ACT now who go on the attack, and the ball has gone backwards. And they lose some field position, but they've been able to get their act together as they take it forward now through the number 8, Rory Scott, who delivers well and keep motoring forward. Good leg drive by the ACT. A little bit isolated, but the ball comes back now. This short side is well covered. Great tackle there by Crothers, the Queensland hooker. Here's ACT. Chiseling forward, Crow. A little fella, but gets through the line. And on the attack, looking good now. ACT's. It's a great tackle there against Bryce Keane, who does get the ball back. It has slowed down now. Could have been a little knock on at the base of the ruck, and it was. So Joel Atkins wouldn't be happy with himself there, because they were finding themselves in a good position to strike.
Really quiet.
I think the ref thinks it's really quiet because he can't hear anything with this breeze.
Good shots here.
It's good.
Look at this scrum.
Good turnout too on a Sunday. I know the final draws a big crowd, and even during the week you get a lot of the schools coming down to support the New South Wales team, but good conditions apart from the breeze as Queensland feed it in. ACT putting a bit of pressure on them.
Shove.
The ball has come out, and they're straight on the attack. And a good break there through Fluke. Josh Fluke, a really good run considering he got bumped off about 40 metres ago. Ball's there for Queensland through Kirk, who delivers it well. And Manu takes it forward and keeps his feet. Needs to drop to his knees to present the ball.
Yeah,
it is a ball.
Fine, strip, play on.
Turn that over the ACT.
Hold there.
Queensland with the ball now. Slipping through the line is Atkinson. As they continue down that same side, and
Advantage.
it's a knock on again.
He's had a crack at the offload there.
Almost a trip there
Yeah,
to
like a trip, didn't it?
the try scorer, Haddad, I think. No, it was
Advantage is
Haddad.
over.
Advantage is over, as the ref says. Motoring forward now is the charge up. ACT
Hold there, mate.
getting it out of there. No charge down, but brought back. That's Jimenez coming back to it now. He's got a great boot on him, but too flat that time. Great tackle there by Crothers, the hooker. They're trying everything now, ACT.
He's got a very flat kicking style, Jimenez, doesn't he, as the halftime hooter sounds. They're dangerous, those guys that kick flat, because they can quite often be charged down. As we've seen just happen there, and now ACT are under all sorts of pressure just as the half is about to end. Can Queensland go into the break with it? Try themselves.
They'll play one final play here now, Queensland, as it comes to the back and it's knocked on, which sort of sums up this first half. Very windy and very scrappy from both teams, but ACT look as though they've not only on the advantage with the scoreboard, but looking pretty good.
Extra 2 minutes, right?
But the referee has called an extra 2 minutes, so injury time now in play.
What do you say to the Queenslanders at half-time, As if you're the coach?
Well, I'll say to hang in there, because I actually think in sometimes rugby where you're not dominating possession or territory and you don't have the ball but only trail by 7, that's probably not a bad thing. ACT are certainly the better team. They're only trailing them by 7 points, but could be more now, or it could even be closer as the ACT pop it off the deck. Some adventurous play in their red zone. They shift it back. Another great boot. This is headed straight towards the commentary box and falls just short.
We've still got time. Got stoppage
Good
time.
clearance. Can probably have another minute to go, as the referee says there. So it's up to Crothers, the hooker, to get it in and get it in straight.
We just fancy if Queensland can hold on to the ball, that they can actually go close to scoring, as we saw earlier in the half.
That's a good throw to the back. And Queensland on the attack. Beautiful ball there. Trucking forward is Taviga. And he gets it through. Back to the halfback. Kirk. Good support there by the Reds, number 9. Ball's at the back. Here come Queensland through Crawdy.
Fine, backwards.
And Manu goes forward but loses the ball. ACT need to put this in the sticks. They're going to have a crack down the short side through Jimenez, and they find an opportunity down the short side here, and here they come, ACT. A great run too by Tupu, who's nailed in the tackle there by Tulmavavi. ACT not giving up. They're still trucking along. They still see an opportunity. They've turned it over now. Queensland with the ball. Kirk at the back. They're going to play the first knock on.
It's time, guys. Yep.
And the referee calls for oranges. So the ACT leading this one 7-0, just the one try to the ACT. And it was a bit of a fortunate try because it came from Corey Toole, who got a very good bounce from an Israel Folau tap back and scored under the post, the David Campese-like, and it was converted in about the 18th minute. So Queensland 2 trailing ACT 7-0 in the third game here on Sunday of the Australian Schools Championship. We'll take a break now. We'll see you in the second half very soon. Ian Payton, Adam Fryer for Rugby.com.au.
Okay, welcome back for the second half here. ACT are leading 7-0. Probably running with the breeze, you would say, in this half.
Keep behind you, mate.
Queensland will be looking to get their act together in terms of handling. Dropped lots of ball in that first half.
Hold on.
Certainly did. The referees called it back. And as amazing as this sounds, it's now completely stopped.
It
No
has,
breeze?
Yeah. Wait and see how long that lasts. Well, it's still anyone's game, this has, I reckon. Queensland were pretty impressive in terms of the dominance of territory and possession they had in that first half. They just couldn't hold on to the ball. As we take 2 on the kickoff. Pretty much exactly the same spot. We get a
Stop
clearance
there now, 18.
out of that half, and they'll take the line out just shy of the 40-metre line.
The Brumbies
Here,
forward
receiver,
pack.
mate. Up here then.
Certainly the bigger of the two here this afternoon as they win at the front and win well. And now on the attack, falling just short of the advantage line. I think that's Leofano who's come into the game now. And here comes that man, Jimenez. He's a superstar, this kid. Is he going to score from here? No.
Took the wrong line there. He could have just headed towards the post, I thought.
He could have, but he's done okay here. Ball's there. Referee wanting it out. They dig it out now, and there's Atkins who mutters forward to another strong run by the ACT hooker. A little bit flat here now, the ACT through Perrin, who motors forward.
Got Chin-Kun on at halfback. There we go. There's a gap now for Crow. Dragged down by Manu. Good tackle.
Looking for the counter now, Queensland. Good tackle there too by Queensland number 2.
He's got his hands on it, but I think he's off his feet.
They pick and go now, ACT. Around about 5 metres out. Another pick and go. Deep into this Queensland 2 half as ACT shift it wide. They've gone down the short side here, but he was standing out. Bedard. So disappointing end to a very, very good sequence of play through that man, Jimenez. Watched him last year here, Pato. He tore the tournament apart. He was incredible, and I think he's still only 16. Another year to go in school, perhaps.
Well, you can see where ACT are going to threaten Queensland in this game. If they can get enough ball to the back line. Crow, he's built like a 10-cent ruler, but he's a handy footballer. He's just dragged that Queenslander down.
Tackle.
So it was a double movement there from Queensland 2.
Play the ball.
Bit tougher on that these days now. They used to be able to get
Take the
away with
points.
it.
Yes, they will.
They should take the points, and they do, but used to be able to get away with it. A bit of a crawl and a bit of a couple of rolls. Now, referees obviously being told to police it a lot better. I think some of the picks here in the
If you're
vision.
reward for the holding on,
Romeo
you've got to survive the clean out. Okay.
Taniela, he is
So don't survive
huge.
the clean out, they don't get the ball.
The 18 for Queensland too.
Yeah, it's fine, but then the guy came through and then they got the ball. So
Well, Queensland will probably be happy with conceding just the 3 here. You get the sense that if ACT spent any time down here, they'd probably score some points.
And Jimenez taking a deep breath, having a look at the sticks. Shouldn't have too many problems with this one, but it could be the commentator's curse that gets him undone as we pause for almost, it feels like an eternity. They line up, strikes well, easy done. So ACT now extend their lead to 10 points over Queensland 2.
Gone to ground, so you got to let it go.
Just on 4 minutes gone in the second half here. And Queensland will have to do something pretty huge to turn this one around. All the momentum's against them, and they've got the breeze in their face. So Queensland 2 lining up to restart the match.
It's about who can settle down in these first games, isn't it, Haas? It's, they haven't really played together that much, as you suggested earlier. Queensland have showed promise in that early period, but
Hold there, five.
let ACT off the hook, you'd have to say. And now ACT are looking the more comfortable. They've probably those combinations from last year starting to kick in a little more.
Certainly are. It was a good effort there too by Atkinson, who raced to make that tackle, but just didn't have the support from his Queensland teammates to get the turnover as Crothers now stares down the barrel. That's a adventurous throw in these conditions up the back there. We're having a chat to his line-out caller at full time as ACT move forward through Mickelson, who now dishes it off to their barnstorming number 8, Scott. His arms free now as the ACT truck it forward through Atkins, who's been good. Is that Atkins or has he been replaced? No, he's been replaced. It looks like it's Lealiafana, but they'll keep moving forward. Good defence there by Queensland too. Ball still on the ACT side as they motor forward now through. Let's just say that's Mika Ellie who's come onto the field for the ACT. As we
Couple of wounded soldiers on the ground here. Let's see if anyone can make the most of it. There goes Crow.
I was about to say, can they make the most of it? And they do that through Jimenez slipping through. Another strong run by Majaja. And he hasn't gotten that ball back, and Queensland have got the pilfer. Who's on top of that ball there? Looks like it's
Time's off.
Garethy. He's been good this afternoon, the Queensland blindside flank. Big
Tell you what, the ACT are blessed with some decent front rowers. Majaja replaced Riti. Both big humans. He's been getting through plenty of work. A reserve prop since he's come on. Queensland defence has been up to it, though, Haas. They've not been given a lot away in terms of line breaks.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the magic spray and a couple of runs, and he's back on track. The referee will look to get the game back in order. As it looks like Manu's down in back play as well for Queensland.
He's already been replaced, Tommy.
He hasn't moved from that spot since he got hurt, so it doesn't look like that's a good sign for Kale Manu. Yeah, he's getting helped off. Poor fella. First game of the tournament.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it?
Never like to see those, do we? Has to put in a lot of work to get to where he's got, and to get busted on the first day. That's a bad piece of luck for the young bloke.
Queensland have fallen short now, and it's taken and shifted wide straight away by Jimenez, who feeds Crow, who gets around. Jimenez looked for the loop. And ACT with the box kick. Charged down by Queensland, but picked up again by ACT as they motor forward again through, looks like it was Mickelson. And looks like it's now the breeze is against the ACT. It's just swirling down here at St Ignatius College. They look for the quick line out, but no.
Rocks of diamonds on the kicking front today from ACT. Plenty of ropey ones. That box kick from the ruck base wasn't ever going above 3 foot above the ground.
Queensland 2 win it well, and it's juggled on and taken. A lot of pressure there by Darryl Brayley, I think it is. He's been incredible today, Bailey. Just really strong on the ball. Put a lot of pressure on the 9 and 10 for Queensland 2 as the ACT use the advantage and look to chance their arm, and they continue down the same way pattern. A lot of bodies in this breakdown. Too many committing from ACT now. That's right, I'll take it on and restart and get all those forwards back out in those running channels as ACT pick and go. Almost the entire 8 around this ruck. Some good meters again. Just chiseling away the young Brumbies, and they shift it out wide. Crow, good shape there to the ACT. I think that's Keane who shifts it on, but he's run straight into touch. They must have used the half-price paint, Pato, because they keep running into touch at the moment. They just don't seem to be getting any cohesion.
Might need to run on the contact lenses at the next break. They've twice been into touch in promising attacking raids. They had found some space on the edge there. Crow looks a very handy footballer indeed when he gets a bit of space. Queensland looking to do the same thing, and they have done. Carriera making some good yards there.
Certainly right, Ian, as Queensland go back on the attack. Looks like that's the replacement for Manu. McPherson. Queensland chisel through again through Harrison Fox. And now shifting it wide. It's another clanger there from Drew, the 5'8" for Queensland. Just this breeze is causing all sorts of havoc for line-out throwers in.
We shelled a couple of P's, Drew. His confidence will be a little bit hit by that, I'd suggest. You really can't afford those simple mistakes if you want to get into a game.
Again, another great run by Rory Scott, who is slowing it down a bit, but it's a turnover. So players at the breakdown not doing their job in getting past the ball. You can see 4 ACT players there in the ruck, bridging over it.
The big man Chang Tung, I think, was over the top there and won that penalty. Getting a high five. No, pardon me. It was
Okay, thank you.
Mika Ellie. Tony Mika Ellie.
Subs.
And substitutions now, so they'll ring the changes.
Don't hands have to be on the ball and not the player.
He's done well to get over the
Understand
ball so low there. It's
Yeah, I'm happy
a
with
skill the big men of the front row like to add to their repertoire, Haas.
Hold on.
One of the days where they just pick someone up and throw them out of the way at the ruck.
As Queensland now take it down on the back, and it's another knock on. First phase turnovers absolutely killing Queensland too. Long ball place, ACT, no halfback, get there now. As they shift it wide and look for that man Jimenez, and they do. It's tackled high there by Queensland, but keeps his feet. Really strong run there by
Very well.
the ACT fullback. He is a great player, as ACT now looking very dangerous. Beautiful hands, shifting it wide. This will be an incredible try if they can get there. Thrown forward. Jeez, that was disappointing. I think it was Darryl Bailey who tried to be... You just needed to shift it easily, and then we'll have a look at the replay now. But gee, it was a good run from Jimenez to start it all.
Lovely hands here in the middle of the field from the front rowers. 2 front rowers combining.
Yeah, it was Bailey who,
Bailey.
right to left, probably needs a little bit of work in the off-season, but
Starting to see what they're capable of, ACT here, aren't they? Lovely hands from F. Capides and Hogan, I believe, there as well in the middle of the field.
and a good scrum by the ACT, but Queensland get it away. And
lovely looping.
Nice wraparound play. Good depth here by Queensland, who've gone down and run well, and that's through Carrera, who's over the halfway line. And here's Kirk, who's taken well and jackled by the ACT, and it looks like it could have been a knock-on to gold. It is.
Lovely work from Scott. Rory Scott right over the ball there.
He's been good this afternoon, Scott. Probably the big difference for mine is the 6, 7, 8 of ACT are all over that ball. Good carriers.
Atkins is back on now at number 9 for ACT. Reece Chin is off again.
Did well, Chin. I thought he controlled things well, got to the ruck, got it out very quickly, got to the ruck with some purpose. It looks as though all teams are making some changes now. Just on 15 minutes to play. Referee calls it up. Sometimes it's just good to just listen to the acoustics in the middle of the scrum and work out what the props and hookers are saying.
Both of it.
Looks like Doriti is back on there as well at loose head prop.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Good scrum by the ACT. Looking at running around the corner. Can't do that. Need to go through the middle. It's the right call by the referee.
Number one must stay straight.
Almost shades of Bill Young there. Taking a couple of steps to the side and running around. Can't do that anymore. Bill Young, of course, the great Brumbies prop.
Brumbies wouldn't have done that, would they?
No, never. No, they would have always done it the right way. No, they're a great organisation with some true greats of the game, both on and off the field, the ACT Brumbies, and Bill Young is leader of the pack there as Queensland now look to chalk up some phases, and Crothers needs to hit the mark and does very well. And thrown down to Kirk, who sees Mellish jumping in at 5'8", but Queensland 2 looking dangerous. Ball could have been forward. No. The adventurous bounce pass, and crawling on his knees now is... looks as though it's Carrera. And
Mellish has moved into first receiver for Queensland. Mellish is in there at certainly off. Oh, they've lost it again.
It's another turnover to the ACT. Good pilfer there by the replacement back rower, Tia.
And it's just a recipe to lose a rugby game from Queensland today, just turning over the ball far too easily.
If they were going to make some damage, that would have been it then. All the momentum with them. It actually looks pretty good, first and second phase, when they're running with some depth and purpose, but just the little skills are hurting them at the moment as ACT win that ball, taken by Perrin, and go straight on the attack. And that's a powerful run there by Dritty, the loose head prop. Bit of a hack down field as Queensland now look to get it out with Bauer. Good ball placed there by the replacement fullback to Kirk as they go down this short side. Try to get the arms free was Mellish and couldn't get there, but they've gone through now with Crothers, who's a good game here in the opener for Queensland 2, the young hooker. And mountain of men, that's Taniela, who's able to get it away. So Queensland looking okay now until the ball just goes from behind. I don't think it's the depth of these players. I think it's the breeze as Queensland.
Great run from Mellish.
Get through,
dangerous now.
Get through with Mellish. The pick and go now from Tominico, who falls awkwardly, and it's
they're going to turn this over again.
It's as though that Canberra have come up with that ball. And the ACT have done really well to snaffle that one, but it was probably a little bit one out by Queensland 2. But beautiful little box kick now. It's got some height on it too, this kick, and it's taken well. And met with a very good tackle from the ACT. Ball's there and stolen. That's pretty nifty work there by Hogan, the prop. Looked like a young George Smith there on the ball as the ACT send it out through Jimenez, who gets it out to the wing, and he's flown through now. Big cover tackle too by Queensland, but
he's hurt himself there too. Tupou, the 15-year-old.
Gee, that was a good hit. He's gone at him and with no respect for his body.
Just two examples there, Haas, where Queensland just weren't showing the urgency required. The ball got taken forward and they turned it over with an isolated runner, and then off that clearance kick, a bunch of ACT forwards, backs, combination of both, rolled through the Queensland breakdown and took the ball back. So Queensland are going to get into this match. They have to lift their intensity.
And they have to do more of this as they go wide and down this open side as Queensland 2. They do look good once they get that ball in first phase, but they just can't get past to the second. So Another coach killer.
That breakdown.
Another coach killer for Queensland 2 and ACT, as they've done all day. 1 or 2 phases after that. And they'll look for Jimenez now in the pocket. And Atkins digs it out. Referee saying play on. They pick and go here. Dreedy, the big loose head prop, and it's intercepted by Queensland 2.
Queensland on the attack out right. What can they put on?
They're looking good and dangerous now, Queensland. Could it be too late? Just 10 minutes to go. Queensland 2 digging it out. And another first phase turnover from their 10. And
ACT.
they stream through now, the ACT through Perrin. The big towering lock. And they've thrown it back, and a crossfield kick. Smart one by ACT, but didn't get the bounce. Taken well by Tiamosa. And hacked it straight back down to ACT. I think it's Crow now, and Crow gets down to just on this 40-metre line. A lot of bodies in this ruck for Queensland. Good carry and shift. It's that man again. Perrin.
Nice tackle from Crothers.
He's been good today, Crothers, and here's the replacement back row, Tio. It's called for.
Well, it's sketchy in that breakdown, isn't it? Probably a bit hard done by there. I thought he was still on his feet coming through.
Yeah, I thought he might have been pinged for crawling, but what do you do here, Coach Payton? Do you take the points?
They're going to have a crack at least. The wind is behind him. Jimenez, and they'll kick out to a 13-point lead. That'd probably be enough for the ACT if they can stretch it out that far. Queensland just haven't shown the continuity to be getting close to scoring a try this afternoon. Chalk it up to good petrol in the tank, I suppose, for ACT.
Here's one on the spot. Did Jimenez make the Australian side last year? He was on the bench, I believe.
There was one they didn't actually get as many as people thought, did they? I think he did. I'll stand corrected.
I think he made the bench, but he's a gem of a player. And not a bad kicker either. So Jimenez extends the lead to ACT, 13 points to 0. And just on 8 minutes of play to go. It's going to be difficult for Queensland 2 to get back in this one, but I do think they're going to win some games this year, Queensland 2, because just the first phase turnovers and whoever's jumping in at that 10 roll. I think I've counted 5 where they've just dropped it cold. But
yeah, I'd agree with that. They actually look to be a handy team. Queensland 2, if they can get their handling right and just make far few errors, you can see them doing some good things. ACT with a mistake there off the kickoff. Well, this is the time, Hass, where you want to prove what you can do for the rest of the tournament, right? You want to build some phases and go over, even if you're going to lose the game, or give yourself a crack, obviously, to win it. But you've got to take some confidence out of these last 7 minutes or so.
ACT scrums probably dominated as well, but Queensland, can they crawl it back? And they do. They go through Fox and now looking to get over the advantage line. So let's just see if they can string 3 phases together, and a good run there by Pona. And a 1-out pick and go, and balls at the back there to Kirk, and Kirk shifts it off to Crowdy, and Crowdy, it's a nice ball place there. That's Tui Mbavi, who's chiseled his way forward. A lot of reds at the ruck here as the pick and go continues through Queensland 2. Another pick and go, so got to be careful now here to not get isolated, Queensland, but they need to score points and they need to do it quick. So good strong run there by...
That's route 1. That's where you want to keep going.
Halapita, and now here's Tui Mbavi again. Just the meters out, they've stripped it out, a metre short now, and the referee is called knock on. So I think that's the right path, is trying to just 1 and 2 around the ruck, but just shifting it off, maybe that tip pass, or...
Is that a knock on, Hess? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, think you've just got to take it out of the referee's hands there. I think they look good when they're going through that channel with Francis Pona, the inside centre.
It's good work from one of the ACT defenders. Didn't catch a number, but he got in around the ball and gave it a big old reef. Affected the turnover.
Crouch!
Other than that, you'd say that Queensland were looking like they were heading in.
Sit!
Strong scrum now, ACT. And they get the penalty,
Number
so...
one angle.
Yeah, that was clear as day. Even I could see that, Ass, and I've never been in a scrum in my life.
Nothing better than coming out of a scrum and seeing the front rowers smiling, and Mika Ellie, the big unit he is, John Tawaki-like. So
Well, he's set up pretty much horizontal to his hooker.
here's Sean Pong with the throw. And 5 minutes of play to go, and that one looked a little crooked, but
Straight outside arm.
so a glimmer of hope for Queensland too. They're walking towards this scrum. I'd be sprinting.
Where is he, Captain? Where is he? Huh? Which guy?
I do have
Captain.
injury time as well
Scrum or line out,
after
mate.
the clock on your screen, so
Scrum, okay. Scrum.
Let's go, Mika.
Thank
now
you,
or
mate.
never for
Keep
Queensland,
going.
that's for sure.
I got him for the last one.
You and Dale got to go.
Now you need to stay straight this
Pink
time,
headgear.
okay?
You allowed to wear
Stay
pink
straight.
headgear if you're in the front row? Ass, what's the
I think you
story
can do
there?
whatever you want, but I never wanted to wear any sort of headgear or equipment that showed me in the ruck doing the wrong things.
Yeah, right.
Sit!
Let's go, Mika. Let's go.
You want to be as far out of picture as possible, but it worked from there as Queensland 2 go on the attack and they shift it wide. They've tried through the middle, and there's another shift there from Pona, and that's Bauer again. In Queensland 2 on the attack, and a good strong run by Tivaga. Needs to get that ball back. It's sloppy there. Queensland through Mellish. Ball around the back. I think probably a little bit overrun there by Queensland too, as they are playing this 7 style of footy. And Mellish is taken there. Good long ball place. Halfback needs to get rid of it now. Who's come on now? That's Cooper Jones. Big solid nugget of a halfback. And here's the hooker.
He got him up.
Fina Chiro. He needs to find his knees. He does. Maul. He needs to release the ball now, the ACT. Maul called and turned over. 3 minutes of play. Queensland drift further and further away from being a chance of winning this one. ACT, all the momentum and all the energy.
Well, he found his backside there. The reserve hooker. But he didn't get his knees. Does that count?
Stay
Is the
straight there,
backside-
please.
Got to find your knees. I think if you hit the deck, but the knees classify as being on the ground, and you need to release the player, and then you can have another crack at it.
Well, it could have gone either way there, I thought, that one.
Crouch!
Just on 3 minutes of play.
Queensland would be better served
Ability,
keeping it
guys,
in
okay.
tight.
We haven't had any
I
issues
would
till
have
now, so
thought.
let's get that
They
right.
were looking wide there. Mellish has done well since he moved into first receiver, but breakdown in communication, the ball went to no one, and it all went pear-shaped from there. So the best success they've had, Queensland, is when they're just going route one.
Crouch!
Just looking at this Queensland front row, it looks like a packet of Mentos with all these headgears and colours going on, but
Sit!
The fresh maker.
the fresh maker. They'll need the rainmaker to help them with this one, as ACT through Gymnaz just punches it down. Awkward bounce here too for Bauer, who receives it and doesn't want to take any chances and throws it right back. And ACT,
Well, you're kicking that ball back at this point. Has you got to run that, don't you?
yeah, I think you do.
That's a
And
great kick.
is it going to
Gonna
hold
go?
up? Oh, that's an incredibly good kick. It was that man Jimenez, and he almost scooped it up to score the try. And
Well, you could give the bloke the ball 20 more times, he'd do it.
he would do the same thing.
He'd do it probably zero, but what a kick.
It was a great kick there. But it's sort of starting to go all the ACT's way now. And Queensland,
They'll probably go in, I reckon, now, ACT. Queensland's maybe gone out of Queensland sales a little bit.
Well, for and against in this tournament is very important, and a 20-point win would be good for the ACT. There's another clanger there for Queensland, and it's gone into an offside player, and goodness me, that sort of sums up the afternoon for Queensland too, Pato. Just cannot get 2 or 3 phases together and continue to put all the pressure on themselves.
You don't want to be too harsh, but the choice to kick away that possession from the fullback, probably not the right call at that stage of the game. We'll learn from that.
Crouch! Boys!
That wind
Kicking up.
We both said it at the same time because our screens nearly flipped over our heads. ACT with one last play, just on a minute to go, and they go through now to Jimenez, who's tackled well, and a good strong clean out too there by Keane. Forwards getting around the corner, and here's Bailey, who's chopped well by, I think that's McPherson, and it was, so they're just about a metre short. They reach out, referee's there, and they call for the try. So on full time, looks as though all the man love's coming in for, who is that, Ian? Well, there's a lot of hugs around, so we can't really pinpoint that, but we'll give that try to the ACT.
Depends how long he takes for the kick.
We might hear the caller in 2 seconds, but I think it could be the 20, Tia.
That's the man.
Who's
The reserve back row.
short.
Depends
He's
how long
wrestled.
he takes for the kick. You've got the full time if you want.
Wrestled a bunch of
If you
blokes
want to restart, you can too.
with him, and he's carried that ball well over the line. He had a lot of work to do.
Good try there by Tia, and the ACT now 18 points clear of Queensland 2 with the kick to come. And I think that will be the game, and the way that Jimenez has played this afternoon, he'll thread it straight through.
Well, you take that if you're the ACT coach, at 18-0 or 20-0 win. They had very little ball on the back foot for a lot of the game. Able to take their very few opportunities and score a couple of tries. They'll only improve. All the teams will improve, obviously, but starting like that, so they'd be pretty pleased.
Let's go.
And Jimenez lines it up and pushes it to the left. So 18-0, ACT, the reigning champions here from 2017, have got their tournament off to the perfect start with a closeout win against Queensland 2. Good start for both teams, Pato. I think there's some promise there for Queensland, but just too many turnovers, and ACT just too big and too strong.
Yeah, they looked better when Mellish came into 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see him moving into that spot throughout the tournament. Forward packs were pretty even. I thought both teams defended well. As we see with only 2 tries scored in the game.